I had very little knowledge of what Live Oaks does now. My only experience with Live Oaks was from the early 1980s when I was in high school, and I think it's changed very much since then. I remember when I was in high school, the impression seemed to be that the people that went to Live Oaks were the kids that couldn't make it at Anderson or at Turpin, and there were jokes about calling it Live Joke or Live Tokes, and so my background information was not what I found Live Oaks currently is.
It was something that, poof, guess what, Mom? And I was quite shocked. When I was in high school, I had gone to a career center where I was only there for half the day, but I did not know that this existed at all.
I knew very little, if anything, besides what I'd heard on the radio and what I'd seen on TV for their advertisements. Nothing besides before Hunter came home and told us his interest in it did I have any idea about what they offered.
And I had been on a visit when he was in 8th grade with Nagel, so I'd already toured the facility, and I was very impressed with definitely the facility and the learning that was happening there.
She had opportunities to actually try it. They actually worked with real animals and did real things with the animals, so that you're not sitting there looking at a book and going, okay, you get to do this, that, and the other thing. You actually are doing the hands-on, which helps you make that decision that, yeah, this is what I really want to do. Haley also had the opportunity to through there to volunteer for a monthly clinic that one of the local vets did. At that point, that vet was quite impressed with her abilities and helped her get a job as a vet tech, and she works for Animal Wellness as a vet tech when she's at home.
I would say he is a happy kid. He's happier. It's a great fit for him. He is thriving academically and also in his vocation.
This was a great choice for Andrew. He actually had kind of lost interest in school. He was doing all right. He was getting averaging B's, but he really just had totally lost interest in school, I felt like. And when he went to Live Oaks and shadowed in the computer lab for the day, he was so excited. He saw the hands-on activities that they have there, and he was really, really excited about it. And so he felt like, this was a subject that he could learn more about every day and have hands-on experience with it. And it was exciting because it applied to what he wants to do in his life. He does play on the boys' tennis team, and that's something that he's planning on doing again this spring. So the great thing about Live Oaks is they do allow children to still participate in activities at Anderson. I know in the fall they dismissed them early so they could come over for a pep rally, and so there are still ways for children to be a part of after-school activities at Anderson.
Some parents, we included, thought that something may be lost with not being at the home school, and there is, as far as game days and the excitement that goes on at a big rivalry game, that he is not here to be part of all that. But as accepting as the team and the coaches are for Hunter, and as accommodating as the Oaks are to allow him to enjoy that as much as they can, it has been wonderful for us and for Hunter that none of that was lost.
And it's taken some work on our part to stay connected to Anderson and make sure we're reading the newsletters and we're paying attention to things that are happening and getting the schedules and letting him know football games this weekend and it's home versus, stuff that he would miss possibly because he wasn't here to hear the announcements. But Anderson's been great. They push, we still get the newsletters. We still get all the information from Anderson. And so our job as the parents is making sure he's hearing that. But then the Oaks puts up the information and says, hey, pep rally this weekend or this Friday at Anderson, please let us know if you're going to leave early to head to the pep rally. They're very, very accommodating. They want kids to stay connected. So it's that approach of, I've shared that trying to think about how to explain to people where he is. Like, oh, where's your son go to school? And I think, well, for a while I was saying he's an Anderson student, but he goes to the Oaks, and that didn't feel right. So we talked about it, and we've come up with he's an Anderson student and he attends the Oaks. So it's the same. He's equally part of both schools.
You don't want to go into something, spend a whole bunch of money, and then find out, oh, I hate this. I really can't stand it. I got to go in a different direction.
Both of us being college educated and graduated reflect back on that as well. What did that prepare us for? And certainly no regrets on either part. But this program allows us to be more open-minded. And is there more than a college education and the success that is surrounded by that? Because having two daughters that are in college right now allows us to have an open mind of that. Perhaps you have a child that is not what their destiny is to do that, and not saying that about Hunter. But again, it allows for opportunities outside traditional high school while still being connected to your home high school, that when you come out of high school, you are prepared for a career, for the workforce.
He is planning to go on to college. The exciting thing for him, while he is at Live Oaks, he will have the opportunity to earn up to 3 Microsoft certificates. And so he feels like he's going to kind of be ahead of the game when he graduates from Live Oaks. And so he will plan to go into probably the hardware side of computers, but he hasn't decided that for sure at this point. So he's had exposure to web design, networking, hardware, and programming classes.
Post Live Oaks, she worked full-time at Animal Wellness for the summer, and she is now attending full-time at Kent State in their zoology program, which is going to be her undergraduate study for veterinary medicine.
It's wide open, which is kind of exciting, and we're trying to approach it with excitement instead of worrying about what it's going to look like. But I think we all agree it's wide open right now. We're not really sure whether he's going to go on to higher education, whether it be an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, even beyond. If he goes into the world of work right away, he does both. He's still got more growing time and more learning time to see where that might be. He definitely is interested in going on to college, and we're supportive of that if that's a great fit for him when that time comes.
Cidra's plans are to go to Shawnee State next year to major in special education, work with children who have developmental disabilities. Before Cidra went to Live Oaks, she had never spoke about going to college. I'm not sure it was even in her realm of what she thought was possible for her. Her grades before going to Live Oaks were not very good, and her confidence level, I'm not sure she could have had the confidence to be able to think about going to college and taking SATs and thinking about a future.
If your child has an interest in the Oaks, I would encourage you to have them go shadow for a day. It's a great opportunity for them to see the facility, to learn about the programs, and just to get a great feel for if that program's going to be a good match for them or not. And I know after Andrew shadowed, he called me right away and was just so excited about the equipment in the computer lab, the teacher who is in charge of that program. And so I would encourage anybody to go and just take a look at it and see if it's going to be a good fit for them.
My advice is listen to your child. Don't tell them what to do. Allow them to go in and be creative or do what they feel as though is in their heart. It will make the child happy and want to learn.
I have given this advice to some of my friends whose students have thought about going to Live Oaks. I encourage people to keep an open mind about it. I had a good friend whose response when her son said that he wanted to go to Live Oaks was, there's no reason for him to go there. He can do well at Anderson. It's not a point of whether your child can do well at Anderson or at Turpin. It's the point of where they will thrive and learn the most, learn the best, what will be the best environment for them. And I truly believe that it was the best decision for Sidra to go to Live Oaks, and that her education has been just as good as it would have been at Anderson or at Turpin, and has been more appropriate for her.
I think don't let maybe past experiences of other people determine what the reputation is of the Oaks right now. I'll never forget talking to one of the counselors there and asking about helping him explain to kids that it's what it maybe the vocational schools used to maybe look like don't look like that now. And the fact that if kids are credit deficient and they're not doing well academically, they do not get to stay at the Oaks. Like, it is something they have to apply and be accepted, and the rigor of the academics is there. And also, the behavior and all the discipline, if they don't cut the standards of the Oaks, then they don't get to stay at the Oaks. And that was really powerful for me to hear, because sometimes people's perceptions of what it looks like is not what it is. It's a really awesome place for kids to learn.
And again, agreeing with that, there is a stigma that will always surround the Oaks and those sort of vocational schools, and it was a concern of ours as well. And I'm not telling parents don't think about that, but I can tell you, as we sit here, that was explored by us. And I will say this, Gene being in the school system, and I am a police officer, that to think that we didn't look into that in a way that some parents may not. And I tell Hunter, he's in a tough position because his mom's in the school system, I'm a police officer. So his behavior is a little more monitored than a lot of the other students. Behavior is a big issue with me, and how kids and teachers and all that interact. That if I didn't feel this was a good fit, if that stigma was true about these are the kids, kind of the island of misfit toy kids, he wouldn't be going there. It was explored, it was explained beyond our satisfaction of this is not what that is. And that stigma needs to go away and deserves to go away. And I appreciate Anderson opening up and allowing us to speak about that and encouraging students and parents to go visit.
And I would say the last thing is kids can and do go on to college after the Oaks. I often get that question, like, well, so what is he going to do now after high school? And I think, well, he's probably going to go to college. Like most kids, I think that's part of that perception too, that the Oaks is as far as kids go academically and educationally, and it's not. I mean, they have many, many kids who continue to go on and grow and learn. He's going to be earning college credits next year as a senior. I mean, the opportunities are there. It's not just that and only that.